Kind of moss plant that seemed to be almost acting like a puppeting parasite. Though what was odd to her was not the creature, but where it was located, seeing as it was wandering through the Rocky Mountain when its natural home is on the opposite side of the ancient wood near the bog where it ends, roughly on the west northern side of the island. And that was very strange. And through a few good luck stealth rolls, you were able to evade and get past them while you finished crossing the mountain and finally made it toward the ancient wood. Although once inside, you had a second encounter with a large creature that many of you had not seen before, though that was also afflicted by this parasitic plant life, as the creature also that it was puppeting was also undead, though larger than any Sprink you'd seen to date, coming closer to the size, just a bit taller than the Guardians, and a bit almost looked like a dragon, though it was missing a few key components. But with some quick thinking from one of your companions, and with the advice from Mev, you are able to circumvent around, hide, and get past it, and eventually make your way to her village.
Woo!
Once there, you are greeted and able to rest. That is where you pick up as you all awaken once again in strange dreamscape, with the hooded figure coming towards all three of you once again, though this time, instead of it happening almost individually, you are now all together. And it seems to be waiting for you to ask any questions before it essentially continues to speak.
What was the last thing that I was discussing prior again? Sorry.
The last thing you were discussing with who?
With the God of Funny Faces.
All right, here. The last stream, the last thing you guys talked to before we ended the last session.
Well, I know that we were leaving it off to ask questions. I just don't remember when the. Did we just appear here and now we're asking questions, or what? Did he say anything?
You guys all, essentially, you all fell asleep at the village, and you woke up here in the stream. You were able to recognize it quickly, being here once before, and then once you were approached by the hooded figure who many of you guessed and was confirmed to be the God of Many Faces, here to essentially let you guys know that choices would be approaching soon, and should you choose to side with the natives and with the island, you would be assisted as best as allowed. And then it said it would wait and see if you had questions you wish to ask before they continue on this topic. And that's where we left off last week, to see if you guys had any specific questions you wanted to ask before we continued.
Did you have questions?
I don't think so.
Nope.
Nothing you wish to ask?
Know what dangers are coming? What to be aware of?
Many things. Many dangers are coming, and many of them you are all aware of. You're simply waiting for them to appear. But the only one that is most pressing now is the one you've already come into contact with. It's one that has ties to your past, and the decisions you make in the coming days will determine how you will proceed with the rest of your companions in the island moving forward.
Concerning. Is there anything you recommend doing to prepare?
You've already been told how to best handle the coming threat, but soon you will be told how the threat was not created but aimed at you and yours now. Soon enough, you more than the others, Leah, will need to confront your past, as it will now come to confront you. The other two, I know what their choices will likely be, but yours still needs to be made. Once that's done, and once you've solidified your choice, you may continue this. But until then, if there is nothing you wish to ask of me, or anything else you wish to know that I can tell you, I can only hope you rest well for the coming days. There'll be trials for you all.
He looks a bit concerned, but looks to the other two. Oh. Any other
No.
questions?
No.
What kind of trials?
There will be tests for you and yours, and how you respond to them, that will be up to you. But it will involve a few more tender decisions. But once this leg of your journey is over, more things will be clear. And I believe you will be able to make more choices that are informed.
Things will become, a direction will be formed, or more understanding we have.
More understanding, I think, would be the best interpretation. But for the most part, I simply wish to convey that things will be more difficult going forward.
Then we will have to prepare.
Indeed. But you are not without allies or resources. When the time comes and you need them, they will be there.
Right, well,
Thank you.
is there anything else you can share with us? Or why can't you share more, I suppose?
When your choices are made, and when I know your path is more so by you than anyone else, I'll be able to reveal more.
All right.
Then where do we go from here?
Okay. From here, you continue the path you've chosen already. When the Draga Bev takes you to her abode in the morning, and she fills you in on the task ahead, and when the confrontation between your friend and her past commences and concludes, that's when the choices need to be made.
Choices.
Choices.
Right. Well, I guess let's get rest. Seems like we'll probably need it.
Indeed. So where do we have to rest?
And scene, or do we keep? Is there more? I don't know.
You know, in this, if once you're all ready to leave the dream, you simply blink, and you're in a dream. But these aren't the ominous kind. These are more of what you would normally dream when you sleep. be they something fun, whimsical, an old memory you're fond of, or just an unfortunate nightmare that you've occasionally had. But
I mean,
you'll sleep.
Yeah.
What?
I out of curiosity, I don't know how much Theo would know, but I know we kind of discussed that she might have some other stuff going on. If there's none of that tonight, then that is all good. I could send I'll send a message, but I don't
Go ahead.
necessarily expect it to.
If it needs to, if anything it's connected to this, it'll either happen tonight or possibly during and or after what's to come. Depending on.
Based off of loosely what we've discussed about her Shadow Monk stuff going on, I don't know if, because I know that she recently got the subclass added on and she's started using some of the abilities, but I don't know. I don't think she knows where that's coming from. But yeah, no, that might come later.
Yeah, that'll probably come a bit later. Once you started using them a bit more and figured out that this is probably a bit different than what she's used to. Yeah, no, you all rest and you wake up fresh and early in the morning.
Woohoo!
Essentially given
Well, given what?
in the huts and space you were given to rest the night before.
Okay.
So who's the first to wake up?
One? Oh, sorry.
You were each given your room. They're small, personal, about a third of the size of the other large ones you've seen. These are all quick sleep. You think they might have been possible storage sheds before they were made up to be your quarters beforehand. So, quick, everybody roll a d20. Let's see who wakes up first.
Okay.
I think Leo would generally try and, keep to being disciplined and trying to wake up early.
But if the sleep is sleeping and it's good,
If she's having a good old dream or maybe a bad old nightmare, who knows?
She's not able to easily wake up. That is a 15.
13. Caitlin, are you up to cause chaos before us?
Nope, that is a 2.
On fire. Huh.
Nope, you are sleeping in. You are comfy. This is very much your element.
Mm-hmm.
This is very much reminiscent of home, but it's just a bit different and you love it. New place, new people. Great chance to make new friends as soon as you wake up. Sometime.
I imagine Kaylin is the type of sleeper to fall out of her bed and not even notice.
Yeah, I could see that.
I honestly assume that her bed is the floor, but she wakes up rolled up in whatever tarp and skin she was using to cover herself, and she just already rolled to the other side and assuming that's the side she slept on. Oh, that depends. Do you think she's the kind that just burritos herself in the night by just rolling around in place? Or is she
Oh,
the
yeah,
kind that just, like, sleep break dances?
Ooh, no, if given the chance, I think she burritos herself.
Burrito.
And she definitely burritoed herself.
She burritoed herself.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. Well, with the 15, I assume Leah's probably the first to wake up.
Yep.
Sounds like it.
Yep. It's the tried and true method. Practice and efficiency. You're the first step. You're thinking what? Crack of dawn, before dawn, a little bit after?
Yeah. She's gonna kind of pack up whatever things she had laid out when getting rested up for the night. Because sounds like we still have some more travel ahead of us to get to Mev's house. Is there some sort of like communal area in this sort of village? Or like a square or something of the sort?
For what exactly?
Mostly I think she doesn't know the place all that well. She just wants to she wants to both hang out somewhere visible so that the others can find her whenever they wake up, and she can also keep an eye on the goings on. But also, she's actually kind of interested. I think she hasn't typically gone to any or very many of these villages. I think she might actually be interested in sketching. Kind of the find a nice view of the village and kind of sketch some of the vibe of the place.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely possible. And you do see a few moments that you could try to sketches. Like I said, in the center of the village there was like a tree with a bunch of spears around it. And in the morning you see that 4 of those spears were taken out, as some of the natives seem to be going a bit towards the west, and as you pass through, you know that there's a river that way. So they're either going early fishing or they're passing through there on the hunt for the morning or for the day's hunt, I guess. While you see others who are waking up fresh, who seem to be gathering. Seems to be a few supplies in large baskets. All of them empty, but they seem to be heading towards a direction deeper south, where there's a bit more foliage, a lot more bushes, and less trees. That's something you could possibly go investigate, or just stay in the central area where a few people are bustling about, seem to be getting some things organized, moving back and forth.
Yeah, she is kind of keeping an eye on things, on like kind of where people go, what they seem to be doing, partially out of habit and tendency. But I think she's going to find somewhere fairly out of the way of people kind of moving back and forth and just trying to capture a bit of what she's seeing.
Nice. Give me a quick, what would this be? Another be performance. Performance with dexterity? No. Or just
Should I use my artist supplies, just add maybe like dexterity and proficiency, or what do you think?
yeah, because this is something you're trained in. Just artist supplies, dexterity, and proficiency.
Okay.
There's no real art check.
Not really, but damn. That's a 25.
Yeah,
18
no,
plus
before
4 plus 6.
You've spent about almost half hour to 45 minutes just getting into those beautiful sketches you see people do, like where it almost looks like an old photograph, but there's just so much detail. And you almost lose track of the fact that a lot of time has passed. And with that, yeah, no, you capture some, and actually, a few of the natives and the villagers who like go around, especially some of the kids after they wake up and go around and notice you, they try to sneak up behind you to see what you're doing, and you get a few people who just stop and like look at what you're doing, very impressed, wondering if you're one of those people who paint. They have their own name for the artisans there. But yeah, no, you've definitely gathered a small crowd who's watching you during your little sketching session. All right, I believe Nishoni, you're up next.
Woo!
How do you wake up?
Well, from a good night's rest, feeling pretty good. I think she'll go ahead and roll off her cot and greet the morning. And I think seeing a village, her native village, there will be a sense of calm, of normalcy. But then she'll remember their purpose and what's happening in the background, and that'll cast something of a shadow over it. But for now, I think she'll just wander between the tents. I think listening in on the average people to see if she can hear anything about how they're feeling about all this, what they want to happen, that kind of thing.
So you're gonna try and listen into the morning gossip?
Yeah.
Right, so are you just gonna like, what are you doing while you're just giving us a normal stroll around, or are you gonna try and interact with anyone directly, or just, how would you like to do this?
I think just strolling, and if she hears anything kind of juicy in particular, maybe she'll jump in, but she doesn't want to like just jump in immediately where she's not wanted, so she'll just carefully listen.
So not Cordelia.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see. I haven't used the rumor thing since I think it was before the wipe. D8s. And let's see what the old rumor mill has this time. 8. Holy shit, double 8s. Yeah. Fuck yeah. You. Alright, so while you're going around, you do see two of them who seem to be escorting a few children who are coming back with smaller baskets that are seen to be filled with a few berries, and you see that they're actually teaching them which ones are actually good and safe to eat, which ones are not, and they're just bitter and aren't that great with flavor-wise, and those that are possibly poisonous and not safe at all. And you see them essentially showing why, how to tell them apart, because some of them look very close to identical, but there are a few ways to tell them apart. And while they're finishing up that talk, you see as they finish talking to those children and send them back again into the forest greenery to try and find more of the good berries, they begin to have a hushed conversation that you begin to pick up on, that you decide to listen in on. It goes something about the local wildlife beginning to become sparser in the area, and reports of the infected from the swampland encroaching further on the ancient woods grounds.
Ah, gotcha.
As well as roll me a quick perception to see how much of this you can.
That is a... Sure, counting.
Math.
15.
15. With that, you're able to know that this has been happening for the last few weeks, slowly but steadily increasing on the northwest side, slowly encroaching in, as you're currently located in the very center of the ancient wood. But the more rarer or more disputed rumor is that there has been talk of strange dressed individuals among these creatures. Some say they are just more infected, but others believe that they are the ones who found a way to command and control these creatures that before couldn't really be controlled in any way. They could only be forced back or eliminated completely.
Huh.
And that's all you're able to get before they silence this conversation as the children begin to come back with more baskets full of odd berries that they'll have to once again sort through and make sure they collected the proper ones and not anything that will end up giving them food poisoning, diarrhea, or just a really, really bitter taste.
Gotcha.
Alright, with that, I do believe. How do you wake up this morning after you have unknowingly burritoed yourself in your little tent?
She's gonna wake up pretty content because I think all in all, even with the weird dream, she feels like she got a pretty restful sleep. So
Oh yeah.
waking up pretty joyously. I think she's gonna make her way outside of her little tent and try to see who's around that she might be able to strike up a conversation with.
Alright, you wake up and you do see some people, not as many as last time, as some people have already left to do some of their jobs for a village like this. You know that there are people who leave, some to hunt, be it fishing or hunting game, others to gather herbs and different plants, as well as others to go grab the different kinds of berries and wild fruits and vegetables that can be eaten and are collected during the day. But a few who do stay, who are there weaving baskets, making clothes, and tending to the dried hides that were caught by the hunter's previous hunts, are there early doing their job, making sure everything's as it should. Anyone in particular we're going to? You do notice your two companions, though one seems to be taking a morning stroll over by where the gatherers are for the morning scavenge, while your friend Leah is over by a little bit of a ridge overlooking the village, seems to be sketching something, and a few of the children and some of the other natives who are passing by are walking and looking at what she's doing. She seems to be drawing on something. I assume she's got like one of those art canvases that she's got a full-on like I'm not sure how big would be, like what, 2 by 3 foot square little canvas that she's just drawing.
I think she was using her journal, but like I think she's got a like decently big journal, and she probably had something to set it up on when she wants.
I'm thinking like she's got a collapsible stand and a more or less like folded up, like rolled up parchment that you'd think would be a map or something, but it's actually just blank sheets that she uses to sketch on.
Well, I was thinking a journal, but if you think that's what it would be.
Well, it could be a journal if you want, yeah. But I think as when I like art supplies are put in like that, I give her she's got like a full on, like a tripod thing, giant, like roll of paper for. Fine. If not, it could just be a thing if you want.
Yeah, she probably does have some of that for if it ever strikes her fancy to do a full-on painting. So I think she is thinking this could depending on when everybody gets up or if something happens, maybe need to stop and go relatively quick.
No, fair. But yeah, no. Given that's what you see, your friends are there doing their thing, and there are a few people there you can talk to, so whatever you want to do.
Seeing that her friends are off doing their own thing, I don't think Kaylin wants to bother them so early in the morning. So she's going to go over to probably some other people in camp, maybe the ones making the basket weaving, and just offer her assistance.
Alrighty, and you go over there and they greet you. It's a fine morning, and if you ask if you'd like to help, they're puzzled, but sure, and offer you a seat next to them with the supplies at hand and ask if you've ever done this before.
She will shake her head no. But I'm willing to learn.
They share a quick look. Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, they shrug and they just, one of them, who seems to have lost the stare down, sighs, puts down their basket, and then goes over and starts afresh with you, giving you step-by-step instructions on how it is, how you begin and how you slowly build outward. So essentially, and this is a style of almost like think a large picnic basket, rounded with the handle at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Very much used for gathering things. Roll me a quick, what would this be? Let's go with dexterity. But they don't have crafting on this one. Just a flat dexterity check.
That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20, and with that, you pick up this pretty quick. Slowly, occasionally you see something, a mistake you made to go back and correct it. And before the morning's up, you're about halfway to a basket.
Boo!
Yeah, and
I think the further along she
ways...
gets, she looks more and more proud that she's able to pick this.
I can almost imagine halfway through doing this, she doesn't know she's doing, like, she sticks her tongue halfway out the side of her mouth, like she's really concentrating.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's essentially showing you that once you finish that, there's a way to reinforce it. Because you can have a normal basket that'll carry normal things, but nothing too heavy. But if you want to reinforce it so it's capable of carrying the heavier things, like stones, weapons, stuff like that, there's ways to reinforce it. And then there's also, of course, the important part, the decoration around it, be it with dry flowers or painted on different patterns and or symbols, just to make it a bit more uniquely yours. This is all shown to you as you, oddly enough, help them and give them a nice little distraction from the everyday.
Boo! Look at me being a distraction.
Woo! You're so good at it.
You were born for this. No, you're good.
Yeah, but as the morning commences, a bit of time passes, and you each complete the tasks you are doing and the information you seem to have gathered. Ms. Shoni, roll me one more perception check to see if you hear anything else on that possible conversation.
Okay.
As I go to see if they continue to talk or change the subject.
You know what? That's not bad. That's a 22.
That was very good. With this, though, they do seem to have swapped topic just a little bit. Instead of talking about the infringing creatures from the edge in the ancient wood and the swamplands, they speak of Mel's latest project and how they're worried about what she's working with and how dangerous it is if something were to go wrong during her upcoming trial. They speak of the fear of what would happen if something were to go wrong.
Whose upcoming
Her
trial?
loss. Met the trial in the project that she's getting into the final stages of.
Gotcha.
That sort of trial. I thought the same thing.
You know, she's been summoned to court, subpoenaed. You gotta make a whole trek back like in a week after all this is over.
Ace Attorney session, aren't we?
How'd you know?
Honestly, that could be fun. I guess we kind of
I
did
mean-
do
Yeah.
that with Cordelia.
Heck yeah.
But no one's been. Yeah, no, people have been, but no one's gone to any of the sessions yet. That'll be a thing for later. But yeah, you all can finish your individual activities. Leah, you finished that really nice sketch of the surrounding villages. Some of the villagers actually give you compliments on how well you did it. Nishoni, you finish up gathering information on some of the villagers on your walk. And Kaylin, you finish your basket. It's sturdy, well decorated, and describe it however you wish with the decorations available. You had a few different paints, a few different flowers to decorate it with, and some really interesting colors to work with because they showed you how they were able to dye some of the dried long branches, leaves that they were using in some very interesting water. They even had some like glow in the dark ones that look normal now, but in the dark they will give you cool little shit. They assured you of that.
Ooh, definitely taking advantage of that glow in the dark paint. That sounds cool.
Crushed up glowworms. Delicious.
How'd you know? It's part of the secret recipe. That and apparently some of the moss that they were able to mix into some of the water. Keep some of that in there for a good little while. You can dip some clothes and or other fabric in it. If you ever wanted to make a glow-in-the-dark torch, it basically sheds hooded light instead of normal bright lights.
Nice.
That's one of the books they told you about. Yeah, no, the morning has come. You've done a bit of your own thing. Now, what are you all three doing? As you all are aware of each other, are up and about in the village. As you know, Mev is located a bit more toward the west, where her hut is, and further west, where her quote-unquote lab, I guess, would be her place of trials.
I suppose we all ought to meet up and, I mean, I guess discuss our dreams. Like, did we all dream the same dream? Confirming that amongst ourselves.
Oh, I just assumed, with all the dream weirdness, that, we shared a look in the dream, right? You guys had that too?
Yes.
Yes, the one with the god of many faces.
Or you guys didn't ask anything?
Like two general questions that got vague answers? What do you want us to ask?
The stuff you were asking about beforehand. But no, that's it's however you guys want it. I was surprised, honestly, that Kaylin didn't ask more about her guardian, or is there a way for her to take him with her, which seemed to be one of the things she really wanted to do.
No, she has her mind. She'll ask the guardian.
The Shoni. She was surprised that Shoni didn't ask more about what would happen with what she figured out about the prophecy of her uncle and what might happen with her brother or the old kings.
There's so many of these things going on that I honestly didn't think about it.
Also, been a while for some of this stuff.
Yes.
True, that's very true, honestly. Yes. So I wasn't sure if you guys remembered or if it disregarded. Great many revelations.
Yes.
But no worries, we got time and other ways to figure out stuff. So what y'all doing? You know where Mev is, you know where each other is. Or you guys want to just make this a vacation day and just chill with the villagers, carry out the day, do some other stuff?
We should probably check.
Well, I think we
in
need to
with
go
Mev.
with Mev, right?
Yeah. Let's check in with Mev.
And if you guys want, sure. You guys head west. Easy enough to get directions. Mev's hut is the largest and the one far west at the top of a small hill overlooking the rest. Do you all approach as a group, knock on the door,
Yes.
or how you guys going in? Because you don't see her outside, but you do see a bit of smoke coming up from the roof, so you know the fire's going inside.
We can
Wait, did she already
call
go back to
hello.
her cabin? She's somewhere else.
Hmm?
Is this her cabin that we're like defending, or is this just where she was staying the night?
This is her place where she's staying the night. You know that the place, she lets you know that the place that she'll be defending is elsewhere, because this is just her home, not where she does her work.
Okay, gotcha. You wanna knock?
Let's knock or
Who's doing
call or whatever. This is made of wood. I can knock, right?
either, wood, both? Go ahead and knock.
I mean, we
Cool.
could always,
Da, 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 da.
And you knock, and you notice that your knuckles, that it looked like wood, but that is hard rock, which is
Ooh.
a little odd because you could have. It's carved to look a lot like normal wood, but that is, rock against your knuckles when you feel it, and that is what that was. But no, the sound carries, and a few moments, and the doors do start to slowly grind open, and you do enter and see that Mev is in fact there, waiting. She seems to be ready, got her makeup, weapons, and a large bag slung over her back with, you're not sure. She seems to be ready.
Good morning.
And good morning to you as well. Are you all ready to begin?
I believe so. She'll look around to you guys.
Yes, I think so.
that it's 12 hours once you start uninterrupted.
Yes. I will need
You
those
said-
for 12 hours.
I think perhaps we get there and start tomorrow morning. Best, I think, to keep as much of that in the day as possible, or is there something you need to happen for it to be in the night as well?
It matters not if it is during the light of day or the light of moon. I only need those 12 hours uninterrupted, and I need myself guarded. We can go there. It's a small walk to where I usually conduct these things, and there, if you wish, I can give you more details before we start, or I can do so after we finish. That I leave to you, but I do wish to leave as you are all ready to go.
That seems
It's,
wise.
anyway. And she does walk past you all and begins to take the lead. And does walk quickly, skimming the edge of the village, giving a quick few goodbyes to those that she passes from the village. Heading west, and you see following a trail that leads out of the village, well worn, but also almost well hidden as it curves and swerves almost like a snake. The path does almost seem to hide itself with every turn. And eventually you come to side of a cliff. Steep, not sure how tall this cliff is. And soon she comes to the side of it, and you see what at first you think is just an odd rock layering, until she beckons you forward, and before your eyes she seems to slip in between the rocks, almost as if she's disappearing. What do you do?
Classic magic BS. Before
Whoa.
stepping in, Leah's gonna take a look around to see if anybody might be spying or seeing this from either behind us or above us or something of the sort.
Roll me a perception check. Anyone else who wants to do it can go ahead. If not, you guys following after or just waiting by the cliffside?
Follow. Might as well stick together.
14 total.
13 total. And you look around. Everything seems quiet. It's still roughly early morning, heading towards more noonish. And everything seems quiet, but that just means there's either nothing there, or whoever's there is very good. And it's that little paranoid side of you that just says, probably best to assume it's someone there and just be ready.
Don't see anybody, but doesn't mean they're not there.
It's not paranoia if they're really out to get you.
Leah will kind of, just probably out of habit, put an arm out in front of her before, stepping forward to make sure, she doesn't get, what is it, prisoner of Azkaban?
Okay, marching order. Who's going first? Towards the... you're at the base of the cliff. Who's going first? What's the marching order?
I think Leah?
Unless, if you guys think you're stepping in before she is, because she did kind of pause.
She paused to take a quick look back, just to get a quick scan of the things. Did anyone stop to do this with her? Or here's the question, did anyone not stop when Mev, kind of got swallowed in by the cliffside?
Well, yeah, I think a
continue
pause, a
forward?
double take is in order.
I rolled for it. I don't think Kaylin did. I think she's going in first.
Yeah, Caleb,
Cool.
that makes sense.
Cool. Haven,
Did you study
roll me
as well?
a quick perception and dex check.
You said perception, what else?
Perception and a dexterity check.
Okay, perception, that is an 18. Dexterity is a 21.
Cool. And as you go, and as you continue forward, and before you realize it, you're in front of Mev again, but you look back, and there's just stone. And then we'll cut back to our other two. What are you guys doing as you see that she also followed the path as Mev did and seemed to almost step into the stone itself before she seemed to just vanish?
Yeah, Leah pauses for that moment and looks around, but I think that's up to Nishoni on whether she steps in before Leah would. Or if she's also pausing.
I don't think she'll step in before. I think she'll follow last.
Two inside, two outside.
Upwards and forwards.
Hey, you do notice that Mev is waiting for your other companions, but she will eventually let you know. You can tell them that you're okay if you need to. Or talk to them. They can't hear you.
Leah will step in after a moment. She's not necessarily hesitating because of, the solution, but more so because she wanted to, see if anybody saw.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if Kaylin would say anything, because I think she would just be under the assumption that they would be following.
Cool. Then nothing, no sound, no nothing. Just cliff just swallowed your two friends. Well, no, your teammate and the person you were supposed to be guarding. And no sounds coming out, and nothing else around you seems to be reacting.
Still stepping
Yeah.
in.
Cool.
I assume this is all
Alright.
happening pretty quickly.
It's a quick, and I need you to click perception and dex check.
Now I roll good. Perception is 24, and dexterity, is it just a dex check, not a dex save?
Just a dex check.
Oh, that's a 17. Nope. Yeah, 17.
All right. And
Only a
just as
+1.
soon as you step forward and you realize that you are now in front of Mev and Kaylin, and you figure it out because for a second it felt like your feet got swept out from under you, but you're still on the ground. You just took a step and it felt a little off. But now you look around and you look back and there's just this stone slab with like a side going into the cliff. You're not entirely sure what or how, but you know you're still waiting for one last member of your group to come forward. Do you say anything?
I'll pause for a moment, depending on if Nishoni's going to come through of her own volition. If, it's like a couple seconds and she doesn't come through, then she'll say something, but she's just right behind.
No, she'll gulp once and then
Yeah.
step through.
Awesome. Perception check and dex check.
Okay. Perception is 16 and Dex. Dex would be 22. Crystal, these
Nice.
dice that you gifted me are actually behaving tonight. It's amazing.
Woo!
I'm a little afraid for Wednesday's game now.
Which I should mention I
Really?
may or may not be able to join since I'm going up to visit my family this weekend, or this week. If I can join Wednesday, it might be an hour later than usual, and you guys can go ahead and play if you want to, or not. Just whatever you choose to do.
No worries.
That's all right. Alright, so as you step forward, Nishoni, and just flawlessly, you step forward and you almost feel like your feet are moving in an angle as you step forward. You almost feel like you have to catch yourself, but you're fine. You've done this before. Your balance, always had it well maintained since you were small. And you look back and now you see your whole group in front of you. Mev, Kaylin, Lena, and now Mev seems to acknowledge that you're all here. She beckons you forward. And as you look back, you can't really see how you came through though. Only an odd passage, because it kind of the path behind you kind of curves sharply to the left, and then you kind of can't see it. But you're not sure how you got to where you are if you just stepped forward.
Suppose we
Matt
can
has-
lock. Oh, sorry.
Okay, now Mev's already going forward, assuming you guys are going to follow. What do you guys do?
I don't suppose we can lock this until we're done, right?
Just push a big rock in front of the door.
And behind the fake rock, we put this real rock. I mean, we could cave it in.
True,
might
but we
be difficult.
probably want to get back through. We'll just have to
You guys look up.
have faith
You
that
guys are
piglins
just on the
aren't gonna
other
come
side of the
through.
cliff. There is no. This isn't a cavern. You guys do still see the sky up.
I mean, we could climb over, but I think the downsides outweigh the benefits of slowing them down. They just like we'd be able to climb over after, they'd be able to climb over before. Funny idea, though.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe the enchantment just teleports us to the other side when we walk into the wall. But yeah, magic. Not
I guess
Ria's
we'll see.
specialty. All right. I
Right.
think I'm down for just
follow
keeping
me?
going.
Yeah, let's continue.
Okay.
Sorry, my baby jumped up in my lap.
Nah, it's good.
No.
Okay, so Shoni, and Kevin, you guys following Mev also?
Yep.
Let's
Awesome.
actually go to the other side of the island and just ignore the rest of this plot line.
Completely valid. You guys take
Ah,
off and go and chill.
I am entirely kidding.
I don't know if that should be valid, considering we've opened up a plot. We should follow it.
Oh, there's a bunch of plots open that you guys never followed up on. You don't have to go to all. You can go to all of them, but you don't have to.
We don't know what we don't know.
There's also what you do know,
We
but you just
die.
don't.
We did die, so that did kind of put a damper on some of those.
Yeah.
But
I
then
really do miss
afterward,
playing Virtue.
she's still
It's fun.
kicking.
Virtue 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Huh?
You could play Virtue 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Well, I did have a thought as it could be interesting to continue her story by playing her dad. It was a thought in the back of my mind.
I don't know. So what do you want to do?
It'd be interesting and definitely could be worked in, but that's up to you. Some things have happened that would definitely catch his attention.
Oh yeah. But
Also,
anywho,
being
Oh.
him would
Mhm.
reveal some of the backstory and what happened, some of her secrets, but
Mhm.
also reveal kind of new questions.
Yeah. That would be interesting.
But yeah, you guys go forward, and it's not too much further until you realize that the entire cliff thing was basically a wall to essentially encircle what is a massive grove of trees. And the largest one that seems, think almost like a redwood, but it has all of the roots are like visible, and they're arching up and around the area. And you see almost like a twisted spiral that acts almost like a staircase to something that's far bigger than you.
Is it going up into one of the redwood trees?
It's spiraling up into like the massive redwood that's in the center. There's a single redwood. The rest of them are just normal tall trees. But the roots of the redwood that seem to be almost like, they almost seem to be in the shape of stairs or something far larger than you. And they seem worn at where the steps would be.
Hmm. Do the large stairs go around like up into the tops of the tree, or do they seem like
Up to the
low
top
stairs?
where the canopy is.
Huh.
But instead of going towards that, she actually goes to the left, the side, toward a small, like, carved out grove where one of the large branch roots seem to come together with one of the branches, making like an alcove, roughly the size of a ballroom. And you see in there she has different plants, a bit of sunlight coming in from the top of the roof where some of the branches part to let in some sunlight. And that's where she seems to have set up shop. As this looks
She's on
like, think a druid alchemist's lab is more or less what you're walking into.
All right. Is this so? She's on the ground floor. She's not going up into the canopy.
No, she's not going up into the canopy, or she hasn't done anything with that yet. She's going down toward the left, which looks like it almost looks like it goes underground, but it only goes down like a few feet, and it seems to be more or less leveled off. So it's not really underground. You can still see the sunlight And there's just a bunch of different things going on at once inside this place. And she seems to be setting up, emptying her bag and preparing odd mixtures, chemicals, and strange growths, different plants throughout this odd little room of hers. What do you all do?
What time is it in the day? Sorry. Somebody else has a question. That's all good.
No, go ahead.
And we had to travel a bit to get here, not full day's travel or anything, but
Now, there's less than an hour to get here, really. And you
Okay.
guys should be fully rested, full long rest. She's just there getting everything prepared, and you see her gathering the last of her things out of the bag she brought. Seems to be mixing something, though I'm not on the verge of finishing, though. And you guys are all waiting at the entrance.
I assume so. What time
Yep.
is it? I don't think I got an answer to that.
It's
Roughly.
not noon yet. We're roughly, it'd be like 11-ish right now. It's almost noon, but not just yet.
Okay.
Okay. I guess, yeah, what's she mixing, or does she tell us to come in, tell us to stay outside, or are we just kind of waiting?
Double toil and
She
trouble.
she doesn't say anything, but you do see a few mixtures, an odd-looking stone cauldron, others mixtures and things, oddly bottled substances, which you can't really see in because her bottles aren't made of glass, but almost like small vases that are corked. And others seem to be almost opaque, like crystal, like naturally formed crystal in the shape of glasses and vials. So you're not sure what's inside of them or what any of them would really do, unless, Kaylin or Nishoni would make this be a nature check, or you can make a nature, a medicine, or a survival check.
Okay.
We'll go survival. That's my best one. That's a
Okay.
16.
Dirty 20 for me. Survival. Or was that either or of us?
Either of you could do it,
Either or both.
or both if they want, but either of them
Okay.
could have done it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But yeah, with that, you're able to identify a few of them. Some of these would be used in healing kits, herbalism, and you've known a few of these to be used in certain brewings and certain, be it alchemical or medical concoctions, depending on what you're trying to make or what you're trying to do. Some of these you have no idea. Some of them you've never seen before, others you're very familiar with. But you see her seem to be messing with something. It's glowing an odd, translucent green. Like, think Mountain Dew bright green. Like, this kind of thing, you don't see this too often in nature, with all like the duller browns and the more vibrants. Others think this is like the electric green. It seems very unnatural. Almost like the color you'd assign to like a radio rod, like the cartoonish radioactive rod. And
Interesting.
after a bit of final mixing and preparing, grinding up a few different substances, mixing them together, he finally seems to cork this. And look of determination does go across her face before she turns to all of you. It says, "Thank you for your patience. I have finished what I required and am ready to begin. But as I promised, if you wish for me to elaborate on what it is exactly I'm going to be doing now or after."
I think now might be helpful in case it might, an off chance that it might prove to be useful information.
Right. What I'm currently working on is a vaccine or a way to defend and repel against the infection you saw. The parasitic fungus that grows at the edge of the ancient wood. It's slowly been encroaching on the wood for the last few months. And normally we would fight against it as we have before, but something's different this time. It's more aggressive, more focused. And it's never been like this, not in any other records, not in any story told to us. And we've begun to notice that it's changing, evolving. And there have been rumors of sightings of yet to be identified individuals. Seem to be
Things
hurting
what
these creatures.
creatures.
Those infected who would normally stay would never venture past their swamp, as it has always been, now, as you saw before, have ventured out of it. Far out of it. And we need to figure out why and what is responsible, but also a way to combat this. And I'm working on something that I hope will be able to repel this, remove it from the creatures that is already infected, and let the bodies return to the earth as their souls have already passed on. There are other effects that this will have, but that is one of the more immediate.
Effects? What do you mean?
Aside from allowing you to gain resistance to the odd infection of recently, when I was trying to figure out a way to protect ourselves from this, I noticed that this had many more effects on creatures and those that was tested on, ways of strengthening them, invigorating them that I didn't anticipate. And now with the war on the horizon, I'm able to perfect and properly attune. This will be able to not only help the ancient wood fight back against this current infestation, but also these may be used during the attack against the golden mines. But for this last test, I will be using myself, and I will need, as I told you, the full 12 hours to fully analyze and properly attune.
Safe?
No.
Sorry.
What?
Is that safe to test on yourself?
For the most part, it should be. Nothing has gone awry yet, and it has been tested on others and other things. And so far, nothing has gone awry. So far. That is why I asked you to come here. To guide me, and if necessary, stop me if something were to go wrong. But I have confidence that it will not, at least not Nothing on my end. As I said, I've taken precautions with this and have been careful. So, is there anything else you wish to discuss about this before we begin?
What if it doesn't work? What will you do? What will we do? What would you have us do?
Define doesn't work.
For instance,
Well,
if you
Yeah.
die.
go-
Sorry, I assume that's your implication.
Yes.
If I take this and it kills me, you simply tell them that that is what happened. We have protocols in place for what happens next, and my research will pass on to the next, and they will try and figure out what went wrong and why it perished. But as I said,
Messages
have-
you want us to? Sorry.
it's alright. Messages will be delivered, and she points to her two companions, and the people who need to know will be informed. It's not death by this that I'm cautious of. It's that others have learned of what I'm doing and I fear will try and strike while I am vulnerable.
This tree. Is there... I'll also look inside, kind of as I'm asking this. Is there a way that we might be able to steal this off? That way we can better focus on protecting you, or actually, maybe not. Think about strategy, but
We are in the middle of a forest. On one side, a stone cliff with a single entrance. On the other, it's just jungle. From any place an enemy could come. But I have contingencies, wards, and ways to ensure that if they are not at least kept out, we will be notified long before they arrive. At least most of it. Most things.
I think it may be good to have somebody, or at least your companions here, preferably this is your people, then would be preferred, but it might be a good idea to have somebody in here with you to keep an eye on you.
That is why I asked you.
I mean, in here with you, and the others patrolling outside.
I need to be on the tree when this happens. It helps the effect.
On the tree?
On the tree. And she points to one of the, what looks like a steps.
Steps?
Roughly about 3 stories up. It looks like a small
I see.
canopy is there. I will be residing there for my meditation, while I hope this will work. Whether you wish to join me on there or around it, I leave that decision to you.
Do the two of you have any thoughts regarding strategy? About a few things to potentially set traps, but
Yeah, traps aren't a bad idea.
but there's these. So it's these giant steps that we'd have. It's like multiple stories just to climb up a single step.
They look like makeshift steps for something large, far larger, but there are other ways to climb it, because it is a giant tree. You can see there are probably a few makeshift ladders around here, and I would likely make one to
They'd
get up
probably
there.
be able to climb up and circumvent. Is there any potentially defensible places at the top of this tree? I suppose, or any structures?
Easy enough to likely make one, but nothing that's naturally occurring. It's just tree branches. Although the branches don't start until you're a good, likely 100 or so feet up or higher.
Normally I'd be nervous about the thought of them just wanting to burn or chop the tree down, but it seems what they're after, and they seem misinformed about the Malachor. This cure that you're working on, can you be honest with us now? Does it have any effect known on the Malachor?
I would not know. I've never treated anyone with the affliction of the settlers. I've only heard of it.
Insight check.
Insight check. Roll
And this is
insight.
partially as well. She might be doing a line of omission of, it might be, well, she hasn't tested it, but she thinks that it might work. Also wanting to check potentially for that as well.
Give me an insight.
13. 10 plus 3, 13.
10 plus 3, 13. Difficult to read. And she gave you a hurt answer, but you, with your own thinking, you know there are quite a few ways to twist that wording specifically, so whether or not she's intentionally deceiving you or not, it's hard to tell.
Could just be legitimately she doesn't know, or it could be live omission.
I mean, she said she's never tested anyone with it, and she's only heard of this thing that affects settlers.
Yeah.
And that's it?
Regardless, I doubt they'd want to kill you. And do you have any notes down here in your lab that might give away what you're working on? Or is it all, and she kind of points to her own head, but implying, is it all in your mind?
Yes and yes.
Then, knowing them, they don't want you dead, they want you captured. Which...
It depends what they want. Whether they want this to succeed, and then for themselves, or they want this destroyed, because they would not be able to replicate it. I don't know.
It seems, from my understanding, they'd want to do everything in their power to get this cure for themselves. Though, yes, there is a danger. If they can't have it, they might not want anyone to.
I cannot claim to know how these people think that hunt me now, only what they've done in the past. And for the most part, what they cannot take will destroy, so others cannot take it.
Fortunately, this is the case. I might be hopeful in the fact that I don't know this sect, but I think it might be for the best if I stay down here. On the off chance that I might be able to convince them there's nothing to be gained here. You, Nishoni,
Yes.
Kaylin, do either of you know how to set traps?
Just maybe small snares for like, little animals, but nothing man-sized.
Same for me. I don't think I've set a human-sized trap before.
guess I could probably go up with them, come back down. I think I might be interested in seeing if I might be able to talk with them before any conflict might arise. If I make myself obvious enough, hopefully that might get their attention.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they do seem to operate differently than what I've encountered. I don't know entirely what to expect. I perhaps give them instructions on how to set a human-sized trap. Actually, that's also, would I know how to set a human-sized trap proper, or would I mostly be winging it? You think?
What kind of trap are you trying to, like, human-sized trap in what sense? Like, you're trying to make a hidden pitfall, like trying to make like a snare trap where like hoist them upside down with a rope? What you trying to do?
Got a couple of nets, and I'm just thinking if I can, basically hide a net and basically have it act as a giant snare, human-sized snare. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
You could certainly
Sounds
try and
nice.
make a trap out of that, sure.
I could head up with you. We could work on setting them up together.
Okay.
While she's getting prepared, for example. Sorry, I don't want to try and take the spotlight. I'm just trying to plan out as much as possible. So if you guys have ideas
You're
as
fine.
well, by all means.
Yeah, go ahead. This is the plan. That's what this time is for. Planning out. You know, an impending possible fight may occur. What you're doing?
Well,
I'd say
let's see.
How tall is this tree?
You're not entirely sure, but it's big. Best guess, a couple stories. It's big. It's likely the biggest you've likely ever seen. Like, think an actual redwood tree.
Let's see. Well, they can reach heights of over 350 feet. That's slow them down, but that's not gonna, slow them down too much for, 12 hours. And then how far they're not able, just to check, I don't think that they'd realistically be able to like go from this rock wall to the redwood tree. It's like far enough away from the walls that it's unlikely that they'd be able to like zip line over.
No, not likely, or at least not in a way that would be. You'd see it coming.
Yeah.
If they tried, you would definitely see it coming.
All right. So I'm thinking she needs to be on the tree. I think it's probably best if she's basically about as high as, feasible. Probably not the tippy top, but like towards the top, while still having some of the defenses of the tree itself.
All right. It's going to take you a while to climb up there, and if something goes down, it's going to take you also a while to climb down. Unless you want to try and free fall that and hopefully survive somehow.
Oh, that's right. These steps, we'd have to like full on climb up, right? Like
yeah, climb up to the top of the tree. The steps only go up until like the tree branches start, roughly like 100 feet apart, because the steps are made out of the roots that for some reason are popped out of the ground. but the whole tree
I see.
is like it can be, and then like there's just nothing but like the normal trunk that you can climb up still, and then like the massive branches that start roughly like the last roughly 100 feet so upward.
Okay, so then maybe not the top, but maybe like a little bit into the branches. But okay, so that's like climbing a tree. It's not like it's not like there's like platforms of knotted branches.
No,
Okay.
that's just at the bottom, towards you until you get to like the canopy, roughly midway.
Okay. Well, then maybe towards, because it's going to be easier to fight on a platform, so maybe like towards like the top of the platforms then. Maybe that's a bad idea. I don't know. Also, it is 10:15. Checking in how everybody's doing. Do we want to continue planning this next time?
Traps might be a good place to pick up.
Yeah.
Traps, but that's normally for a snare. You'd be setting those with branches, but the branches are like several hundred feet up. So I don't know.
Look, he's in a barrel.
We could do like a. We could. If somebody has mold earth, we could do like a, like pit traps.
Like here's the question: is this trap so you can take them alive or capture them? Because there are plenty of traps you can make that are just not gonna. You don't have to worry about them now.
I can create or destroy water, or no, I have shape water.
Yeah, she has move earth.
No.
No, I mean Mev.
Call lightning. I could split the tree, get some branches.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Maybe don't destroy the tree we're trying to put it, like, hold a siege on.
I mean, I have defensive spells that I could use, but like, I would need to wait for someone to be here. Like, I have wind wall, wall of fire, stone shape.
Yeah, definitely like keep some of those. Maybe we don't climb up the tree and we just try to hold a siege at the tree.
Yeah.
You know what? That's
Couple
fair.
stories up. I had a different vision of like how things were set up in mind, I guess. But yeah, I think. Like if we get her like, what's the range? I guess that also might depend on the range, because if like you guys set up at various like heights to kind of cast your spells, and then I'm kind of like on the ground, and then her companions are also on the ground.
Look, this is more or less what you're looking at. Just scale a little bit there with like the branches.
Ooh. Big tree. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it's not like a redwood where it's kind of like a a pine tree, but it's just the branches start up high. It's like all the tree, like all of the like branches are kind of towards the top. Except from like a couple scattered around.
Yeah, and at the bottom there's like the weird staircase of, because the roots are for some reason out of the ground, weirdly like shaped like like a staircase for some reason.
Okay.
Gotcha. I see.
Then maybe we stay closer to the ground and protect the stairs, so that way they don't
easier
get up
to
the
defend.
tree.
We can always move up if things are getting kind of.
We can always fall back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's gonna be on like one of the bottom, like a tree little canopies where she can just sit and be relatively safe. And you guys are likely, whatever's coming at you, you'll likely be able to see coming, because there's nothing tall enough or like they could come at you from the sides. They have to come at you from the ground first. And then
she need to be like. She mentioned meditation. Does she need to be like meditating the entire time?
She said meditation just for the riveting. She's going to be out,
Okay.
essentially fully vulnerable
okay, yeah,
when this
yeah.
is happening.
Okay.
She's
So we
essentially dosing herself and hoping that she's able to. Well, she's trying to do something else with it. Essentially, trying to fine tune the bad stuff and get as much of the good stuff.
being like would like if we do decide to try and like fall back, would we need to like pick her up and move her, or would that mess with her, or would she be able to move
No.
if she can't fight?
You could move her, but it can't be nothing. Nothing that would damage her, essentially. So picking her up and moving her would be okay, but if something damages her, that's when the problems. What those
Okay.
problems
But then
are
she's not
exactly,
gonna be,
not
like,
even
moving
she
herself.
fully knows. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're able to like make a hammock and just bag her like Mimsy, as long as nothing physically hurts her, you should be fine.
I'd say we put her in the bag of holding, but that might disconnect your connection to the tree.
Yeah. She does let you know that the point of her doing the tree is she's essentially going to try to connect with it to help her ease through this.
Yeah. Makes sense. All right.
Wow.
So I was gonna say I mean maybe I dig the holes for those pit traps, but I guess I probably don't have a shovel on me. Do you have a shovel in your lab? And there's
You
no
just
other
need
trees in the
2 sticks
area?
and 1.
Okay, you
So-
finally asked her, and she does let you know she does have the spell Molder.
Woo!
That
She's a
would be-
druid. Very high level
I
druid.
figured, yeah, she was okay. Gotcha.
Just waiting for someone to ask.
I did ask before.
You asked your companions.
No, I did ask if she had it as well.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I just heard asking us.
Yeah, I honestly didn't hear that either. Sorry.
Sorry. No, you're good. You're good. Well, we could. Yeah. Where would we put it though? I guess probably around the first step. We don't have a battle map, but Leo will point out like 3 like places, like approach spaces that she thinks that they might come from. It's probably. Are there other trees around here, or is it just the redwood and there's no trees around it as well?
No, this is the lone redwood, as it were, like the
Yeah,
largest
lone
tree and roughly the only one you've seen of this size.
Yeah.
Around the island.
No other redwoods, but are there other like normal trees around the redwood, or is
Yes.
it just
There are other normal trees, but they're pretty far away from the redwood. You've got roughly a good 60 feet around this thing, like, and that's starting not at the center, but like after, like, at the edge of each of the massive trunk, like 60 feet in any direction before an actual tree post.
I guess cutting to the chase. Do I think that I'd be able to like suitably cover up a pit trap with like leaves or?
Oh yeah, no, that
stuff?
you've got plenty of, because this massive tree does. You've got
Does
leaves
shed a lot.
everywhere else in the forest, so plenty of foliage if you need to cover up. There's also vines available if you want to try and make something from that. You'd have to test out how strong they are. Make sure you've got some that are good and not some that are just going to snap on you.
Interesting sort of place to try and defend. But no, I think for starting, Leah would try and direct a couple of spots that both, it seems like they might walk over or places that would be kind of like center in the battle where somebody might accidentally slip in, or she could possibly like push somebody in. She tried to find like 3 decently spaced out, and then she'd go and try and direct 15 foot deep holes would probably be good. Wouldn't take too long with mold earth.
Yeah, no, that you can do that. She's got a few spell slots she's willing to burn for this. She's got create water, destroy water. She's even got a few spike runes if you'd like.
That would be useful, but I don't think that lasts outside of combat.
Well, she can essentially create them so they do last. Essentially creating the plants themselves. So it's not the normal magic, it's just a part of the terrain. So it's now hazardous terrain.
Well, where would we want to put these? I guess.
Yeah. It's the equivalent of like lighting a patch of like the path on fire. While it's on fire, it's probably not safe to travel.
Idea. What if we use the spike growth on like either side of the first step at the trunks of the tree to kind of funnel them down a certain pathway, and then kind of put the those pit traps in that pathway.
That's doable.
Yeah, scattered across there.
So, in doing so, you're essentially creating a single safe path, which you guys are going to need to remember to not stray off of.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can essentially create a specific area where it's safe to travel. Or
yeah, there's a safe path. How would we mark that for memory's sake? Would we just be able to remember that?
Yeah, no, you'd be able to remember that. You'd know where you put it.
All right. And then preferably also a decent amount of space kind of at that base of the, like right before the first step, just in case we need to fight there. We have a decent amount of space to do so.
Yes. Easy enough.
Okay. All right. So we got that. Do I need to roll any survival checks for hiding the pit traps?
Give me a survival check with an advantage because you're getting help from someone who knows the place.
Sure. Let's see. Bonus. 22.
22. It is well hidden, you believe, and definitely cause problems from someone trying to get through this place that doesn't know where they're at.
Seems pretty good. That seems like you guys got some spells at the ready.
Yep.
Call Lightning would definitely be a good one. And many others, would be good as well. But that you mentioned before would be a good one. Anything else you guys think we can do in prep?
Not that I am smart enough to know.
Remember that push and swiftness, that will probably come in handy. I think otherwise... The explosive scrolls. Could Leah roll some kind of check to see whether she thinks that she could attach that to an arrow so that it explodes whenever it hits its target?
It'll take you time to craft and also find a way to detonate that without it being like a timer. Like you have to activate it as you hold it to pull back and make sure you don't get caught in the explosion as it leaves.
Yeah. Fire it quickly, sort of takes restriction.
Yeah, that'd take a bit more trial and error for you to figure out how to make the trick arrow work. So like, is it a delayed explosion, so when it hits, that's when it activates? Or do you want it to hit and immediately detonate?
She thinks that would be a useful idea, but she decides that probably would be a bit hard to use in this scenario. So she'll
for the time being,
hold on to that idea for another time.
Yeah, definitely something to test out and try later. Good idea. Smart way to use them.
All right. Well, I guess. Do we want to leave it here and then pick up with the starting off this whole situation next time?
Yeah, I think this would be a good place to stop for now.
Yeah, sounds
All right,
good.
so you guys have set your traps, and you're essentially going to start off next session with the meditation beginning. She's in the tree. She's out for the next 12 hours, and you guys are going to start your watch.
Well, I might get into this a bit more next time, but actually, do I have the? I know I got like all those little like kind of sashes for the various countries I'm trying to see. Okay, yeah, faction sashes. It would be the Coin Guard, or would it be the Coin Guard or the Congregation of Merchants?
Congregation of Merchants is...
Okay, yeah. That would be associated with the Fifth Company.
The Fifth Company, which would be the Congregations of Merchants. You want the Bridge Alliance, or the
Bridge Alliance.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess
that's the one that's the one you don't want to show.
Yeah.
You didn't want to get that because that's the one that marks you as in.
Yeah. So I got them basically all the other sashes. I guess she'll just kind of stand there. I was gonna like kind of plant a flag, like I would try and get their attention to talk with them, but I'll just leave it for now.
It's a bold assumption that they're not gonna want to talk to you first.
That they won't want to talk to you first.
You've done nothing to hide your identity, and you know they'll likely recognize you.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they'll recognize me. This is a largely different faction than I'm aware of, so I don't know. Maybe there's people I recognize. Maybe there's, it's entirely different people that I know. I don't know.
Well, no. As soon as someone left, like their faces are around, so they might not recognize you immediately, but they will likely know of you.
Okay. So, like, once you leave the agency, the public, okay, yeah, they like.
Everybody knows that. Okay, this is a former, so you run into them. Possible to talk, but if things get dicey, just know they're trained.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they're not the average Joe.
All right then.
All right, this plan seems to be coming together great. You've got your plans, got the goal, got the trap.
Let's go.
We should also probably set
conversation option.
We should probably set up how far up the tree Mev is positioned.
She's at roughly 3 stories up, where there's a little branch that's kind of like a little hangout place for her. That's where she is going to essentially stay. That's what she lets you know. That's where she'll be.
Hard for them to get up there.
It's high, difficult to get to, well defendable if you guys want to run up there in case things go dicey and someone needs to just run up there and snipe if they want to. Yeah, no, she's more or less safe up there.
We can figure it out next time, but we should also figure out like where you guys want to position yourself. If you guys want to be down there with me, or if you want to be somewhere higher up in the branches, around the roots. It's up to you, though.
I may be down there with you, TBD. Let me think on it. Where would Caitlin want to be?
It might not be a bad idea, just because somebody that might be good at talking might be useful. Because she has information that is useful. She knows how they work. She does not have a high charisma.
That's the thing. Like, you've got the person with the info.
I'm the opposite.
And like the background, and then you've got the person who can talk to people but has none of the other stuff.
No info.
Woo.
No info or sense of like how badly this could turn out if like the talk doesn't go well. It's too bad you guys can't fusion dance and just one person who could help.
That would be great. But yeah, no, I think probably I will also stay on the ground just because I don't have a lot of long range things as well. Yeah.
I got
I
spells.
mean, that's fair.
All right.
You-
So, do we want to leave off just before you start, or do you want to say that you guys started the meditation started and you guys are ready to set the clock, as it were?
I think let's just leave off a little bit before in case we think of
Yeah.
anything we wanted to do in prep.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
leaving off a little
All
bit
right.
before would be fine.
I
Perfect.
had thought that
All
maybe it might be a good idea to wait just try and do this like first thing in the morning the next day. But honestly, they'll probably, be able to, if they really want to sneak up, they'll be able to sneak up either way. So I think it's probably just best to do this ASAP, give them less time to prepare.
All right. And as we just pan out, you guys finish up the last of your preparations and the last of your planning as you decide who's going where. Mav's already decided where she's going to be, and I think Kaylin's decided she's likely going to be on the ground to
Yep.
support the more than likely confrontation with the company that Leah's going to have. What you guys don't see is the three figures in the brush on the far north side, starting with this individual slowly approaching, good 100 feet away in the foliage. Slowly appearing next to him is this guy. And then lastly, but not least, is this guy.
Boy.
Creepy people.
Either they got ghillie suits or a third party.
Who knows? Who knows? Once you actually see them, you'll likely be able to tell.
Hopefully us next time.
Well, in character, you'll be able to tell. Out of the game, well, they seem to be swapping on focus between Mev and one of you. But we'll figure out who that is next time.
Maybe they're just
That's not ominous.
and
Yay.
they're gonna be allies. Maybe they're just gonna be allies and they're just acting really ominous for fake out. I don't know.
They're just aura farming because they can.
Or farming because they can.
I mean, that is one of the
Just
best.
kinda
I have no
poser.
idea where the movie's from. Sorry, good.
No, Leah's just gonna pose real quick.
Just dramatically pose, not knowing what direction to face. So she just does it for a minute in one direction, and then turns and does it again in the opposite direction
Of course.
until she hits. She hits
I mean,
all 8 compass points in a dramatic pose that does actually work because the wind, gently passes by you in the right direction to make your hair flow epically.
That's like an
Yeah.
eighth of working at the fifth company is just posing.
Yeah, basically.
It's not. I mean, yes, just not in that sense. Posing as somebody else, just not posing literally. Except for when you do need to pose literally.
Oh yeah.
Listen,
I mean, one of the best ones I've seen. It's not even that. It's just there's one of those in the scrolls for the YouTube. Like these, a guy was like swimming up to like a little kid who was swimming in the water. They're trying to get out from a shipwreck until like the little kid points behind them, and you see a massive. And it's not like you just see the massive eyes, and you just see them. It's not even doing anything, like menacing or showing its fangs. It's just like letting itself be known that it's there, and then it slowly lets itself fall back into like the deep dark water, and it just vanishes slowly. Just a reminder of like, oh, that's what's actually down here.
danger.
Like, oh, oh god, it's terrifying enough to see that kind of a big ass monster. But when you hear it start to talk in your language and let you know, I'm as old as the world itself. What's up?
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. I imagine in her time at the Fifth Company, Leah posed in a lot of different professions and jobs and whatnot. And I imagine at some point for a little while, she was a model. And yeah, no, she still poses from time to time. Strike a pose. I don't know. Maybe not. Wherever it's needed.
You cut out just at the end there, and I was trying to figure out what happened to my phone.
Oh, what did you hear?
It's like the last 5 seconds got cut.
Well, what did you hear?
It was something about something that Nyla would normally do, and then it just started cutting garbled, and that's about it. It was like, that sounded so important.
Oh no, it wasn't. What I was saying is, I imagine that she, in her time at the Fifth Company, and she had a lot of different identities that she took on for various missions and tasks and whatnot. Some were very short-lived, some were, longer periods of time. I imagine one of those, she had a lot of different professions. I imagine one of those, for a little while, was a model, and she just got ingrained into her mind. Make a pose, strike a pose.
Zoolander.
She just unconsciously does it. Like every time she just walks, even when you're just stopping, before she can even catch herself, she's already like striking the pose, looking around, scan. Like every time she scopes the area out, it's always like one of those hand to the side, just looking around, not knowing she's drawing more attention to herself.
Yeah, she strikes the Zoolander face. No, I imagine every once in a while something like that. I don't know.
Like it just slips through, and she's like, "Damn it! I need to get over this. I'm not a model anymore."
That was 3 weeks. I'm still doing it.
Honestly, what I wanted to do at some point, but it's probably not going to happen until way later in the campaign, is like one of the chieftains is going to like take you to a edge of the island and let you guys know, okay, so this is how bad the situation is. Which is just going to show you the remains of this giant thing. Just essentially explain.
Nice.
That's not good. That's cool. Cool as hell. But that ain't good for us.
Like, yeah, no. Apparently, just not gonna say, just mumble, has gone crazy with power, and when the island, as a monster tried to rise up and stop it, he just literally skewered it, stabbed it in the face. So good luck.
Thanks. We'll do our best.
Said that at the same time. It's like, oh man, there's some real harmony in that.
It's like, I got to imagine that they actually fully believe that. It's like, we'll do our best. We are definitely going to try and stop whatever it is that did this to that thing.
I don't think that would go well for us, but I mean, here's trying.
You never know. It could have just been a misunderstanding, or it could have just been like, look, it had to be done.
A misunderstanding? What sort of misunderstanding causes that?
Like, I'm sorry, but the beast was rabid, and I had to put it down. There was no other way. There was plenty of other ways. That was just the fun way, but it had to be done.
Just know, it was not in pain when it died, because I skewered it through the brain, killing it instantly.
It was quick. It wasn't painless, it was quick though.
It felt everything.
Here's the sword is itself. I work in chronomancy, okay, and I tried to do the thing where like the death is instant, and it was. It's just that because I stabbed it through the brain, it got like a time acceleration thing, so that death took days to like register for that.
All right, guys, I may need to jump off here.
No, it's good.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, no problem.
See ya Wednesday? I think.
Wednesday,
Wednesday we'll figure
Yeah.
out what we'll do. We'll figure out what's up.
Goblin
Mhm.
Camp.
We'll figure
Woo!
Yeah. Thank you so much for
It's time to
hosting,
spread
Siler.
our-
Yeah,
Always a
thank
pleasure,
you.
guys. Super fun. And we're just about to get to the fun stuff because it's totally possible you guys can